This is my 1994 Chev S10. I've had it now about 4 years. It originally came with a 4.3 V6 automatic, the Vortec V6, and I bought it so I could convert it to a diesel. Small diesel trucks around here are just about impossible to find now, and if you can find one, well, they want a lot of money for it, and they're usually in pretty crappy shape. So I picked this one up and specifically converted it to a diesel 5-speed. It's got an Isuzu C223 diesel engine, putting out a whole whopping 58 horsepower, and a 5-speed behind it. I always wanted a small diesel truck. I mean, you can always get the big Cummins or Chev or whatever, Fords, but I wanted a small one for fuel economies, and I couldn't buy one, so I built my own, and this is what I ended up with. Inside it looks like the regular old S10. Even has the annoying key beeper. It's my daily driver, so I don't pretend to make it a showpiece, and it's not spotless, but anyway. It has all the factory gauges in it, and they all work. Everything works properly. Speedometer reads pretty close. All the gauges still read accurately. The difference here is I had to put the gear shift through the floor where the automatic didn't have that. Of course, it had the usual gear shift hookup here. And fortunately, it came through in a really good spot. Not only that, but I had to pull the entire dash off to be able to accommodate the clutch pedal, because there was none there. So I had to build a bracket up under the dash to take the master cylinder, which is on the outside of the firewall. And the brake pedal is the factory brake pedal. I just cut a chunk off it so that brake pad would fit on it, or the brake cover for your foot. I put a tachometer in it. It's actually from a boat. The engine in this redlines at 4200, so it's close enough. I mean, if I'm over 4, I know I'm getting close to too much revs anyway. It works off the alternator, and it's very accurate actually. Everything else is the same. Anything that was vacuum works off the vacuum pump that came with the motor, so the brakes work, and the heat controls are also working off vacuum. I really hate that noise, but it saved me from killing the battery a couple times. Starts up. Starts pretty quick actually. Oh, tricked me that time. I can't show you the speedometer, but basically everything still works fine. And we'll have a little look under the hood. It's my radio. I kept things as much stock as possible under the hood. The motor mounts bolted in the proper holes in the frame. This engine's originally out of an S10 diesel they had from 83 to 86. Transmission's also from it, so it bolts right on the motor. It's just a T5 Borg Warner. There's nothing special about it. Gear ratios were used in this diesel, but there was also some other engines that still use this close first-second gear ratio, and fifth is short also. I used the stock air intake from the V6 and the stock radiator, so it's got way more cooling than it actually needs. And for that reason, I don't run a fan. I have no cooling fan whatsoever. Nothing. See if I can get some light on it here. There's no cooling fan. I don't have electric, anything, and so far it has never overheated on me. It's barely come up off of where it normally runs. Because I've got so much cooling, I thought I'd try it, and if it's a problem, I'll put the fan back in. But I actually noticed an increase in fuel mileage because of no fan, and that's exactly why I tried it, just to try it. It's easy to do. It's only 4 bolts. The heater and everything is all hooked up the same as it would be in the gas engine. Just a fuel filter there for the diesel. Plus I'm still running the stock gas filter. I never bothered taking it out. And the fuel pump is actually still in the tank. For the first 3 years I ran the fuel pump, but decided not to. So I pulled the fuse. I wasn't sure if this pump would suck fuel through it, but it did. So if it ever happens I run out of fuel, I just plug the fuse in, prime it, unplug the fuse. It's real easy. I have a modified glow controller because my switches on the top are dead. So now I flip a switch in the dash when it's cool enough. It ups my idle speed and turns my glow controller on for seeing how I have 10.5 volt glow plugs. They come on for as long as I want, but that timer is set for about 8.5 seconds. If it's cold enough, I do it twice. It's the stock air cleaner for the diesel that I made it up to the intake for the V6. It's kind of noisy intake, so that kept it quiet. Cruise control still works. One of the few things I had to make was an actual power steering pump container, because there was none to fit this one. I didn't have one, so I made a little container for it out of steel. I'll start it up here. Not that there's a lot to hear. Anybody familiar with these engines, it'll be a familiar sound to you. It's not actually that loud inside, believe it or not, when you're driving it. It's a little louder on the outside, but I get a few odd looks, but most people don't clue in that it's not a gas. It's the slowest thing you'll ever drive. Acceleration is very slow. But I live out in the country and live near a small town, so it hasn't really been an issue at all. Highway, it's not real great on the highway. Hills, you slow down for sure, you drop gears, and it doesn't seem to matter. Fuel mileage is great. I can get 6 liters per 100 in the summer. I don't drive this thing in the winter. I live in a really salty climate, so I'm saving it. That's about 45, 46 miles a gallon, 47 in UK gallons, imperial. I don't know what it is in American. If you're American and you're watching it, you gotta figure that one out yourself. But yeah, that's my truck. I like it. Thanks for watching.